To say that water always has been and always will be important to our desert is an understatement. Without water, there'd be no agriculture, no tourism or recreation, no businesses. In fact, without water, there would be no life here at all. And the story of water in our desert, especially the story of the Desert Water Agency, is an important one. In the mid-1920s, the Palm Springs Water Company supplied water to the area by capturing snowmelt from snow in Falls Creek canyons at the foot of Mount San Jacinto. By the 1940s, surface water supplies were not enough for the growing population, and deep wells were drilled into the groundwater reserve, where the water was of the finest quality to be found, and there seemed to be an unlimited supply. After time, though, groundwater levels declined. The Palm Springs Chamber of Commerce appointed a water study committee to investigate the importation of supplemental water. The committee voted unanimously in 1961 to prepare a bill for submission to the California State Legislature to create a special district called Desert Water Agency. Through an act of the legislature, DWA was formed to assure an adequate water supply for the northwesterly portion of the upper Coachella Valley. In 1962, DWA entered into a water supply contract with the state of California through the Department of Water Resources. And in 1968, DWA purchased the Palm Springs and Cathedral City Water Company systems to provide domestic and municipal water service to the area. You know, sometimes when you're in the desert, especially on a hot day like it is today, about 112, you see things off in the distance that look real, but they're not. They're called mirages. And that's exactly what just happened to me when we came up over the top of this hill and I looked over here and saw this body of water. I thought it was a lake, but it's not a lake and it's not a mirage. It's, well, here to tell us what it is, what all of these are. Tom, introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, Huell. I'm Tom Kiley.
Okay, you're connected with Desert Water Agency.
Currently, I'm the vice president of the board.
So you're connected.
You bet.
What are we looking at right here? It's not a mirage. It's not a lake. It's a
recharge pond.
Ponds, and
yes,
you've
sir.
got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look, they go all the way around. Why are they here, and what is a recharge pond?
This is really part of the most important part that Desert Water Agency plays in the water cycle. This is water from the Colorado River that's traveled by aqueduct from Parker area to this area where we recharge the underground basins that you see out beyond you.
Now wait a minute, this water was in the Colorado River. It came across California in the aqueduct.
That's correct.
And now it's here, and what is it? It's sinking down in the ground?
This ground is very porous, and that's the reason we selected this particular site, Huell. That this water can infiltrate the aquifer by up to 6 feet a day. So we put the water in here, and that floats down into the aquifer and recharges that groundwater basin.
So all this water is going down to recharge the aquifer, and don't you have another big recharge area as well?
Right. This one is in our Mission Creek area, and then we have another one out at Windy Point with the Coachella Valley Water District, which takes the water from Whitewater, and about 700 acres of these ponds are there at Windy Point.
That is amazing, and I find it really interesting too. Not only is it interesting that this water is sinking down through the sand and recharging the aquifer, but most people, when you drive out here, you think desert. You don't even really see these ponds, do you? They're below the level of the highway.
Right, and no visual impact for people that want to come out and see wide open spaces. You really have to be on top of them.
Wow, this is amazing. This is just, I mean, talk about a desert surprise.
Yes, it is.
And how important are these things to the water picture out here in the desert, especially?
We would not have the Coachella Valley, and particularly this northern end of the Coachella Valley, were it not for this groundwater recharge. Starting in about the 1940s, we overdrafted. That is, we took more water out of the aquifer than nature was restoring. And what we did by being part of the California Water Project and being entitled to bring water to the desert and recharge it
from the Colorado
from
River.
the Colorado River in this case,
was you help bring the aquifer back up.
Right. And
therefore people can live out here in the desert.
And since 1970, we've put about 2.5 million acre-feet of water back into
that's a lot of water.
Aquifer. Yeah.
All right, now this water all came from the Colorado River from the aqueduct.
Correct.
We just came from a place that was filled with energy,
right,
with water that's also come all the way from the Colorado River through the aqueduct.
That's right, Hugo. We have two connections, the one here and the one at Whitewater. The one at Whitewater, we have a 1.2 megawatt generator, and we're able to generate enough power from the water that we're using to spread at the Windy Point area to generate enough power for about 600 homes.
What's that called, that place we just went to?
That's the Whitewater Hydroelectric Plant, and then it goes to the Whitewater...
Turnout? Or
turnout, that's right.
Turnout.
We actually turn the water out from the aqueduct. Part of it goes to the hydro plant, and part of it just goes down the river, but all of the water then recharges that groundwater basin in the upper
So it all
Valley.
goes to the spreading ponds further down.
Correct.
Wow, what an interesting chain. It's all connected, it's all interconnected.
You bet it is.
There are so many surprises in the desert.
We're glad to share them with you.
Well, I got to tell you, this one right here, you talk about surprises in the desert. It doesn't get any more of a surprise than this. You come to the desert expecting it to be hot and dry. It is hot and dry, but there's a lot of water here too. Water doing its work, recharging the aquifers, and it's come all the way from the Colorado River.